Hello, you guys. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. I am so happy you're here. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I know it just came to be very pretty and sunny outside here in Nashville, Tennessee, but it has been so freaking cold. It's been freezing temperatures overnight. I know a lot of people are getting snow right now. It's March, not sure why that's happening. But I hope wherever you are, you're having a good week and you're having a good day. And I'm very glad that you decided to join me for today's episode, which, as you can tell by the title, we are talking about something that I personally have struggled with for a very long time. And honestly, I'm still working through it. It's something that I really have to actively choose to retrain my brain with every day, and that is being a people pleaser. And it's not just like, I feel like when I say it like that, it sounds very like dramatic, like, oh, like being a people pleaser. But this is something that I've really struggled with. This is something that I know a lot of my friends have struggled with. And I know that because of that, we can't be the only people on the planet that have struggled with something like this. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it today. And not only really just the idea of being a people pleaser, but I also wanted to talk about what I'm doing in place of being a people pleaser and how I'm kind of replacing that idea with protecting my peace and really prioritizing myself rather than other people. So that is what we are discussing today. So I think for everyone, being a people pleaser, or anyone who is a people pleaser, that concept, that feeling stems from a bunch of different things. I actually looked up the definition of a people pleaser to tell you guys today. A people pleaser personality means a person feels a strong urge to please others, even at their own expense. They may feel that their wants and needs do not matter or alter their personality around others. So that is what, by definition, being a people pleaser means. And I know for me, because I also looked into, where being a people pleaser stems from and why people are people pleasers. And I was reading a lot of different articles that said that a lot of it comes from, childhood trauma and all of these different things. But I think for me, what really has started the whole idea of being a people pleaser was always the desire to feel accepted, to feel wanted, to feel included, to not feel like the odd one out. And when I really started to think about it, it really stemmed back from early childhood. I wouldn't classify it as like childhood trauma, but I do think, from an early age, I was always socially awkward, always wanting to make friends, and would do whatever I had to do in order to do it. So whether that was agreeing with someone on something that I did not agree with them with, whether that was inviting people over to my house for pre-games and for not even pre-games, it's like 8th grade and you're going to like homecoming, but you know what I mean? Like inviting everyone over to my house. That way I never felt left out. And that translated over into high school too. I was about to say college, but didn't do that. It translated over into high school too, where I would always have people getting ready over at my house, or I would have after parties at my house because I wanted people to feel included, but I also wanted to be included. So I was doing it so no one else could do it and not include me, if that makes sense. It's kind of backwards and twisted. And when I say it out loud, it sounds a little manipulative, but I think it really just came from this soul desire to want to please everyone, to want everyone to like me, because I definitely experienced, being the new girl well over like 4 times in high school. I went to the same middle school, lower school, and freshman year of high school. I went to the same school until I was 15 years old. So for 15 years, I was in the same school, but I bounced around friend groups a lot. And that was really hard for me because I was always just trying to morph into whatever everyone else was just to fit in. And then when I got to high school, if you don't know, I transferred high schools 4 different times. So from Connecticut to San Diego, and then from my first San Diego school, second San Diego school, which were in the same year, my sophomore year. So 2 schools my sophomore year. And then I went to my 4th and last school my junior year of high school. And so because of that, I think I know that I morphed myself to just try and be what everyone wanted me to be, but not even what they wanted me to be. It really was just what I felt would be the easiest way to get accepted. And honestly, I remember my favorite school out of any of those, the one that really brought me out of my shell, was this third school that I transferred to. It was definitely an alternative learning type of environment. You had one-on-one teaching, and everyone there, I hate to say it, but I'm just going to be blatantly honest, everyone who went there got expelled from their other school, and this was kind of their landing spot. And for me, I obviously wasn't expelled. I just transferred out of my school prior because it was just, too big, had too many issues, whatever. But I wasn't never expelled or suspended or anything like that. I don't even think I ever even got detention in my entire life. But when I went to this third school, I really felt like I could kind of finally be myself because, again, just to be blunt, it just kind of was like the land of outcasts. And I felt because of that, it was just a judgment-free zone because everyone who was there was kind of just, no one had any room to judge because everyone had a bunch of skeletons in their closet. And so I truly felt like I could come out of my shell a little bit and be myself. And then when it came to my fourth and final school, I remember I didn't want to go because I finally felt like I was in an environment where I thrived, where I felt like I had a sense of community, where I felt like I didn't have to try and be someone else because everyone else was already so different. There was no cliques, there was no anything, and I'd never experienced that before. And so I remember I wanted to stay at that school, but my parents were like, absolutely not. So they transferred me to a different school, my last school that I went to and graduated from. And that was a great experience. I wouldn't have traded it. Knowing what I know now, I would never have traded that because I met amazing people, had amazing experiences. But in the beginning, it definitely was that same feeling of, okay, how can I morph myself to appease everyone else, to be accepted, to be likable? And I honestly did that probably up until the middle of my junior year, kind of the end of it, where then I just was, I like guns blazing, I didn't care anymore. And I think it's because I had been held in so tightly to be the version that I thought everyone else wanted me to be. And then I went to the total opposite end of the spectrum and didn't give a shit about anything at all and started going wild and crazy. And that's where the high school horrors and the story times have all come into play that maybe some of you have seen. But that's where I think it really stemmed for me, is just always wanting to be accepted, always wanting to be liked. And then when I got to college, in my first year of college, that's a whole different experience. And if you've been through that, you know that you just kind of get thrown in with a bunch of other people that usually you don't know. Maybe you do. For me, I didn't know a single soul, and that was hard. That was its own issue in and of itself. And it kind of restarted the cycle of wanting to be accepted, wanting to be liked. And again, I think that it's something that has truly carried over for me even till now. I'm kind of just now unlearning it. And I've had to stop myself on multiple occasions, especially recently, and having someone else in my life who, that I live with, who sees my day in and day out and sees, how I make decisions and how I navigate my own life. He has definitely pointed out how much of a people pleaser I am. And I don't think I even really realized it until he said it. And then I started reflecting. So it really wasn't until recently where I've noticed how much of a people pleaser I truly am. And honestly, I think a lot of that also has to do with just being on the internet. And I started social media when I was, how old was I? I was 20. I was 20 when I started social media. It was 2017. And honestly, even just through that was such an experience, and still is an experience, of wanting to appease everyone. You want to make everyone happy. You want to have people like you. But what I started out doing was not caring if people liked me because I didn't really think anyone was going to watch. And then once I started getting some traction and people started watching and the negativity started coming in, it truly felt like I couldn't please everyone. And then it started to feel like I couldn't please anyone because as clearly as you know, if you're listening to this, I have, or maybe you don't, who knows, but I do have another podcast called Killer Instinct. And it was a really big toss up at the time because I felt like I couldn't please everyone, and still sometimes feel like I can't, because I feel like if I post a Killer Instinct video, people want the lifestyle content. And if I post the lifestyle content, people want the true crime content. You know, I see the comments, the drive with me's, the playlist, the favorites, I see it all. And I really had to train my brain over the years to not care so much about what other people who don't know me and don't know my values, don't know my heart think. And it's been a process and it's been a journey for sure. And I think any content creator will tell you that you really have to learn when to put when to separate and how to compartmentalize. I think that's a huge thing. And I know that one's not what everyone's going to understand in terms of like where the people pleasing comes from, but I'm just trying to give you a timeline of my experience with people pleasing and why I think it's become so prevalent in my life. And, you know, even in my early adulthood and, you know, moving to Nashville, I think I talked about this in the episode where we talked about moving to a new city and making new friends and always feeling like you need to say yes. It's just this constant, like, it puts you in the state of being a yes man all the time. And you feel like if you're not saying yes, if you're not, you know, putting yourself out there, if you're not draining your social battery to the literal 0%, then you're not going to be included, or you're not going to make friends, and you're not going to fit in. And that's something that I had to deal with. And it becomes so draining. And that's something that I've really struggled with and kind of got to my breaking point with it, of I can't constantly be pleasing everyone else, be wanting to make everyone else happy, because it's never going to work. I'm not Superwoman. I'm not Wonder Woman. I can't make everyone happy. It's just simply not going to happen. And not only that, not only can I not make everyone happy, but in the process of trying to do that, trying to do the impossible of making everyone happy, I am going to make myself so miserable and so drained that I'm going to become a shell of a human, because I'm not going to be myself. I am morphing myself into all of these different, you know, everyone else around me. I'm morphing myself into, you know, my friends or my family or my work and what everyone else wants of me. But I am not staying true to who I am, and I'm not staying true to what I want for myself. And that's a big problem, because at the end of the day, it is my life. And if I stop living for myself and if I start living for everyone else, again, I'm going to become a shell of a human. I'm going to be so drained and I'm going to be so unhappy, and I'm not going to be living my life to the fullest, because a big part of life is making yourself happy. It's living for yourself. It's doing what is going to take for you to be the most fulfilled. And yes, there's compromise and there's sacrifice, and you have all of those things that, you know, have to happen in order to help you navigate through that. But it's so important at the end of the day that you're making decisions for yourself, and you're making decisions that are going to make you happy at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with those decisions. And that's something that I've had conversations with my friends a lot more recently lately, because I know that I'm such a people pleaser in most aspects of my life, but especially when it comes to approval. I've been searching for approval and wanting the, you know, yes, that's okay, and no, that's not, or you should do this, or you shouldn't, from people who aren't really giving that to me anymore, especially now that I'm 26 years old. You know, growing up, I always searched for, this is just an example, I've always searched for my parents' approval in everything that I do, because I value their opinions so much. I value them so much, and they mean so much to me. And of course, they help me navigate through life. They have my back through thick and thin, but I still find myself looking to them being like, do you approve of this? Is this okay with you? What do you think? Should I do this? Should I not? Are you going to be mad at me? And it's like, I'm 26 years old. I have made a life for myself. I have a job. I pay for my own shit. I pay my own bills. Like, I don't need their approval anymore. I just don't. I'm 26 years old. I am an adult, and I'm, you know, doing adult things. I have my adult life. I pay my taxes. I do all of that shit. So I don't need their approval anymore. But something I definitely find still to this day is looking for them for that, yes, that's okay, or no, that's not. Whatever the answer is, I still look for that. And I know that I have friends in similar situations too, and we always ask ourselves, like, why is that? And I think that even in I talked to my life coach about it, because, I've always, like, I just am wondering, like, where does that sense of the needing of approval and the people pleasing come from? And I think when it comes to the parent example, I think that that's something that is very normal when you grow up in an environment where, your parents are very involved and hands-on, and you grow up kind of getting that approval. Once that stops, it's like, wait a second, what now? So that's a whole other, part of it. I think that there are so many different categories of people pleasing. For me, it's friendship, it's, parent relationship. It's also my relationship, like just, romantic relationships. There's so many different, ways that being a people pleaser gets displayed. And it's something that I've really had to focus on, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, I'm an adult. So why do I still feel this need and desire to make everyone else around me so happy, when in turn what that does is make me so miserable for the most part? There's exceptions, like, for example, but again, this is me trying to justify it. This is me justifying, like, oh no, but this is when it's okay, and this is when it's okay, because I don't want to sound like a bitch. But, and there are certain exceptions. Here I go again with the excuse, but when it's like someone's birthday and you go above and beyond for their birthday because it's going to make them feel special, or Christmas, or, holidays, Valentine's Day, things like that. That's when it's like, okay. And that's when I enjoy it. That's when I enjoy going above and beyond. That's when I enjoy being the people pleaser. That's when I enjoy making other people happy. But when it comes to disrespecting my own boundaries for myself and draining myself and spreading myself so thin for everyone else, how is that benefiting anyone? Because at the end of the day, that means that I'm not showing up in the way that I need to. It means that I'm not showing up as the best version of myself for everyone else. And in turn, I'm really losing a sense of my identity, because I am giving myself to so many people for so many things and trying to make them as happy as possible, trying to appease everyone, trying to, make everyone, everyone feel good, and everyone, not have anyone get mad at me, because God forbid that happens. And God forbid I say something that makes someone upset, because I just want everyone to feel happy. And I don't want to give anyone an impression that isn't my best. But at the end of the day, again, if I am spreading myself so thin, and if I'm giving my energy and my time to everyone else but myself, I'm doing the disservice to not only myself, but also to them, to not give them my best. And that's something I've really had to learn, is that I'm not just doing a disservice to myself, but I'm doing a disservice to others, because I'm not allowing the room for myself to really be like, okay, is this right for me? Does this make me happy? Am I going to make them happier than it's going to make me? And does that bother me? Can I live with that? Can I not? Those are the types of conversations that I've had to start having with myself. And I will say it has made a lot of a difference. And it's really funny seeing someone who's not a people pleaser versus someone who is. For example, Hayden, my boyfriend, I don't think that he's a people pleaser. I don't. I think that he does everything he can to make the people he loves happy. For example, me. He'll go above and beyond for me. Like, that is without a doubt. But I see when he has conversations with his friends, for example, if he doesn't want to hang out with his friends, if he's socially drained, he's not going to do it. If he, he allows himself the time to step away and recharge his social battery and only say yes to things if he feels like he can show up 100% for someone. And I love that about him, because he's really shown me what that looks like. And for example, there's been so many times where I've had obligations, like friend obligations, social obligations, where I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I'm drained. I'm tired. I had a long work day, or I have a busy work day tomorrow, or I'm just stressed. And I feel like I'm juggling all these different people's opinions and all these different people's desires and wants and needs for me. And I only have two hands and I'm only one person. And he just looks at me and he's like, why don't you just say no? And like, you would think it's that simple. That's how I know he's not a people pleaser, because you would think it's that freaking simple. Granted, like, he's probably the nicest person I know. Like, truthfully, he is such a nice person. He's so kind and his heart is so kind, but he doesn't stretch himself too thin. He doesn't do things that don't feel right for him just for the benefit of someone else. And that's one of the things I really admire about him, and something that I've watched over, the past however long years, 2 years or whatever. Something that I've really seen is his way of protecting his peace. And he would probably never explain it like that. And he would probably get annoyed if he knew that I was explaining it like that. But that's really what it is. It's protecting his peace. It's protecting his own, sanity. And that's something that I've started to apply in my own life as well. And that's kind of the whole second part of this episode. And this topic is going from being a people pleaser to being someone who protects their own peace. And it's definitely something that is a choice. It needs to be applied. So for example, when I get a message from someone who is asking me to do something, who wants to, do something that I don't really want to do, whether that's like a social event or, whatever it is, instead of quickly responding yes because I want to make them happy, taking a step back and asking myself, is this going to make me happy? Is this going to be something that I am okay with, that I want to do, that I'll enjoy doing? Is it going to bring positive energy into my life? And also learning that those types of questions, when you ask yourself that is not a selfish thing to do. I think that this whole idea of protecting your peace and choosing what you want to do when you want to do it and how you want to navigate and when to say no and when to say yes, it oftentimes, something that I've really struggled with is that it, to me, feels selfish, because why would I put myself first? Why would I put my feelings, wants, and needs in front of someone else who's asking me for something? Because if someone needs me to do something, of course I'm going to be there and of course I'm going to do it. But I've had to stop and I've had to really ask myself, like, Savannah, is this benefiting you? Is this serving you? Or is this going to drain you? And obviously, you guys, there's, I feel like this goes without saying, there are exceptions to this all the time. There's always going to be exceptions to, being a people pleaser when it comes to the people that you love. There's always emergencies. There's always things that are going to happen, and you just got to do them. And that's different. But I'm talking more so about the things that you can control, the things that, are not serving you, that are coming into your life and causing you anxiety and stress, and you don't know how to remove yourself from that. You don't know how to separate and compartmentalize. And it's something that I don't think is selfish, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, if you're not showing up as your 100% or as your best for that day, like whatever your best looks like, if you can't show up as that to someone, what really, like, how is that serving them? How is that helping the situation? How is that helping yourself? It's not, in my opinion. And so when I've had these kind of conflicting conversations in my mind about, I want to help them, and of they asked me to do this and they want to go out, and I just, I know in my heart and my mind that I don't, or they're asking me to do something for them and it just really conflicts with my schedule and I'm going to have to go so out of my way and I just don't want to do it, or whatever the case may be. And no matter how big or how small, whatever that looks like for you, if that's not serving you, then is it really worth following through with? And you're allowed to say no. That's a big thing, is you have the control and the power to always say no in a situation. And again, I feel like there's a thin line that gets walked here between, being selfish and saying no to certain things, and then just being a people pleaser and saying yes to everything. There is a middle ground that can be found in this, doing the things that you want to do when you want to do it. Like, for example, I love my nieces and nephews more than anything. If my sister were to ask me on a hectic, busy work day that I have to come over and watch them and babysit and whatever, because for whatever the reason is, I don't even care. I would drop everything in the drop of a dime to go over there and do it because I love them, and that's what family does. And that's, I wouldn't even hesitate. I would never hesitate for that. So I don't mean like in situations like that, I would never look at that and be like, no, that's not serving me. Like, I don't want to watch, your kids. I'm going to like sit here and I'm going to watch TV by myself. I would never do that. But I'm just saying in situations where it's not bringing any joy to you, it's not bringing any positivity, it's just not serving you. I feel like you guys get what I'm saying. I feel like I don't need to over-explain myself. I feel like oftentimes I do feel the need to over-explain myself because I want to appease everyone and make sure that like no one is taking what I'm saying wrong. But at the end of the day, I really do think that you guys get it. So I want to talk about something else right now that ties into this conversation. And I'm pulling up my notes app right now on my computer because I want to talk about things that I do to protect my peace and to protect my aura, to protect my space, to protect my sanity, all of it. I wanted to put together a list. I know I'm a little late to this trend, but I know that this was a trend on TikTok for a while, talking about low vibrational things that people are cutting out of their lives. So I made a list of 5 things that are low vibrational that I'm cutting out of my life. And then I put in a list of 5 things that I think are high vibrational. Is that the term? I don't know. Like more, whatever the opposite of low vibration is. I think it's high vibration. So bringing in things that are high vibrational into my life. So I put 5 low, 5 high, and this was a trend on TikTok about a month ago. I wasn't able to figure out who started the trend. So whoever started this trend, they get full credit. And if you guys do know about it and do know who started it, definitely let me know in the comments below. But I thought that bringing this list up was important, and I thought it was a list that we could share together. It's something that you guys can leave in the comments, or if you don't want to, just have it on a note to yourself and just be able to look at it and decide what those things are that are low vibrational, things that are bringing you down, saying goodbye to those things. And I did watch a lot of other TikToks of people saying what was low vibrational for them. And I know a lot of people said that they, cut out alcohol and cut out violent TV shows and cut out things like that. Because of my job, because of Killer Instinct, I can't cut out violence. It's just not something that I have the leisure of doing. And I don't even think I could if I wanted to because I'm a true crime addict. But I know a lot of people said that. The alcohol thing, I can't cut out alcohol. I think it's because of the violence that I consume. I need something to just kind of balance it out a little bit. So I know those are some of the things, just to give you examples. I know a lot of people said gossip, reality TV. Those were just some of the things that other people said. But I'm going to give you my list of things that are low vibrational that I'm cutting out of my life to help protect my peace and help better serve me and center me and keep me grounded, in order to also help me, moving forward, to just choose myself more and not to be as much of a people pleaser. I think that this all ties in together. So the first thing is stop checking social media first thing in the morning. I am such a victim of waking up, rolling over, turning my alarm off, and checking my email, my Instagram, Twitter, my texts. I look at my screen first thing in the morning. And the times that I don't do that, I feel so much more at peace. I feel so much more calm, and I feel a lot more grounded, and I feel like I'm living life a little bit more, and I feel like I'm not living for everyone else. Because if you think about it, you wake up in the morning, first thing you do is look at other people's lives. How could you possibly live your own? It just doesn't work that way. So that's something that I want to start doing and start cutting out, is really just allowing myself to wake up in the morning, take church outside, feed him, make a cup of coffee, sit on the front porch once it gets warmer, and just enjoy the beginning part of the day, rather than, again, looking at my screen and seeing what everyone else is doing in their lives and comparing. And, it's not healthy for me. And I don't really think it's healthy for anyone. So that's the first thing. The second thing that is low vibrational that I am cutting out of my life is suppressing my emotions when I feel overwhelmed. I don't know about you guys, but something that I've definitely noticed about myself lately is I get overwhelmed very easily. I feel like I get overstimulated very easily. And because of that, I become very irritable very quickly. And I think that the best thing for me to do in those moments is not to suppress and get quiet, because that's what happens. I physically feel my body like shut down, and I like, I don't even want to say it's like a bad mood. It's like, I just get so irritated and irritable. And because I feel like I don't know how to express those emotions because there's not a specific thing or event that made that happen, I really just shut down and I go quiet. And something that I've noticed is that that doesn't serve me or anyone at all, because if I'm quiet and suppressing, no one's going to know how to help that. And the times that I've noticed me get into that mood and that funk that I have spoken up, there's been multiple times because, you know, Hayden and I have had this conversation a lot where he's like, when you get in those moods, like, just tell me. And he's like, I'll do whatever I can, whether that's something, whether that's nothing, and you just want to sit in that mood, but just express that. So at least we're on the same page. And the times that I have expressed it, just being like, I'm just in a mood and I don't know why, or I feel really overstimulated and I just need a second, or I'm sorry for being irritable and I don't know what's causing it. Those are the times where not only has it kind of brought me out of the mood just by like admitting and accepting and not like sitting there and just tensing up, just by kind of allowing it to be what it is. That's helped tremendously. I can't even explain how much that's helped. So that, but not only that, you know, having someone that I can lean on. I don't need to just kind of sit and sulk and tense up in my irritability just for myself. I feel like because a lot of times when I don't have the words to match what I'm feeling, or I feel like I don't have a good enough reason to be feeling the way that I am, I just don't say anything. But you know, it's okay to lean on other people. It's okay to look to them to be like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I probably shouldn't be. And I have really no good reason, but I'm just irritated. I'm just in a mood and I'm so sorry, but that's what's going on right now. Just having someone that I can lean on has been more helpful than I could probably even articulate. And so that's the second thing that I want to cut out of my life, just suppressing when I'm feeling those emotions, because it's never done me any good any time I suppressed it. And then the times that I haven't, and the times that I've tried my best to articulate, those are the times where I've felt so much better. And I've felt like it's okay that I'm feeling like this because I have someone there to be like, listen, it's all right. Like it's all good. Like, thanks for telling me. And like, this is, how can I help? And it's okay to ask for that help. The third low vibrational thing I have on this list is not consuming content on social media that heightens my anxiety. Now, again, I have a true crime podcast. So this is like, again, I can't cut out violence. I can't cut out true crime documentaries. I can't cut out true crime shows. And also I kind of like them. Not only just for like work purposes, but I actually enjoy it. Like, I enjoy what I talk about on Killer Instinct, not the content, obviously, but I do have a passion for true crime, and I have a passion for, helping others, and I have a passion for getting coverage for things that maybe haven't had the coverage that it deserves. And so things like that, like, that's not really what I'm talking about. Personally, for me, I just have a lot of anxiety in general. We've talked about this. We know this. It is a known fact. And my anxiety kind of switches to what heightens it the most based off of what's going on in my life. So my anxiety gets triggered by different things based on my life and what's going on. So for a long time growing up until about, middle school, separation anxiety. That's what it was. And then once I got into high school and things like that, it was relationship anxiety, all the way up until when I met Hayden and realized I didn't need to have relationship anxiety and that I'm secure and solid in a relationship. Now I'm just constantly worried about everyone and everything, and I'm a hypochondriac, and that's where my anxiety focuses on right now is worrying about my safety, the safety of those that I love. It's kind of consumed me, and it's not really something that I've opened up about or talked to really with anyone other than Hayden and my life coach. I really have kept that to myself. The fact that, I truly have had a lot of anxiety over the past couple months when it comes to types of content on social media. Let's see, like I'm literally itching right now just talking about it. But what I mean by that is like, I truly think, I don't want to, like, I'm not a hypochondriac. I don't think I'm actually like a hypochondriac. I just think that my anxiety hyperfixates on things that I can't control. And health and safety is really one of those. Obviously, you can do all that you can up to a certain point, but I see so many things on TikTok. I think it's partially just because of the nature of what I do. I'm always favoriting and saving different true crime videos on TikTok just to go back and watch and see if there's a case that you guys would like. And so I think that because of that, the algorithm also throws some not so great medical videos my way, and it really heightens my anxiety. I literally had a breakdown over it a couple months ago. This was right before Christmas, and Hayden told me that I should just, step away from TikTok and delete it. And I just, by the nature of what I do, I can't do that. I want to be on TikTok because it's a great, source for what I do, but it does cause me a lot of anxiety. So with that all being said, that 3-minute long explanation of me trying to articulate what I'm feeling, whenever I see content like that, because I can't just make it all go away, I can't do that. What I do is, instead of looking at it, because I would sit there and I would look at it and I would freak out inside, and then I would just keep scrolling, and then I would freak out. My anxiety would get triggered and I would hyperfixate. Now when I see it, I just scroll. I just keep scrolling. I don't even stay to watch. I just keep scrolling, say a prayer for the person in the video, but I just keep scrolling. And it's helped me a lot because it's also helped just set up my algorithm in a way where it doesn't really show me that content anymore. Again, you might not think that one's like that big of a deal. But to me, in my mind, it's really created a strain on my mental health. And so I've just been trying to find ways where I can still be on social media, still do my job, still put content out there for you guys, but also have a boundary with it and manage it in a way where I'm not consuming types of content that trigger me. So that's the third one in a nutshell. Okay, the fourth is nitpicking myself when I see a photo or a video of myself. I think because I've been doing social media for so long and I've been filming videos of myself for so long, it's always so easy to look at a video and be like, oh my God, I hate my makeup there. Or, oh my God, I hate my hair there. Or, oh my God, I need to lose 10 pounds. Or, oh my God, I needed to get a spray tan. Like, it's always so easy. I think just by nature, we look for the negative in ourselves. I don't know what the science behind that is, but I just think by nature, it's easier to tell ourselves the bad things than it is to compliment ourselves, than it is to say, oh, I actually think I look kind of good. And oh, I actually like how I look here. I like my outfit. I like my hair. Like, I want to stop nitpicking apart my life and what myself. And if I don't look good in a certain angle or whatever, like, I think we talked about this a while ago, like, there's so much comparison in social media, and I think that really doesn't help this case. But something that I want for myself to just, it's low vibrational, I want it out, is the urge to, when I see content of myself, whether that's a photo or a video, to nitpick. The first thing that I do is to tear myself apart. That's low vibrational, and I am removing that from my life. Okay, the last thing that is low vibrational on this list definitely goes into what we've been talking about all throughout this episode, and that is not respecting my own boundaries and not saying no when I want to. So essentially being a people pleaser, not respecting my own boundaries, because when I don't respect my own boundaries, I'm not showing up as my best self, not showing up as the person that I want to be and the person that I am. So I need to be able to respect my boundaries more. I need to be able to put my foot down when I want to. I need to be able to say no when that serves me best. So that's what I mean there. Okay, so those are my 5 low vibrational things that I'm getting rid of in my life. You guys can let me know what your 5 are. Now the 5 things that are high vibrational, that we are keeping, that we are implementing, that's what we're doing now. Okay, so the first one is decluttering and deep cleaning my house once a week. That is high vibrational to me. I am a neat freak. And so if there's clutter everywhere, I just feel like I'm a mess. Like, it's when my house is clean, my space is clean, I feel like my mind is clean and my mind is organized. There's no clutter. It's not dirty. It's just, to me, that's what I think, to me, that really just can take my mood from a 5 to a 10. It really can, because I feel like when I have a, organized, cleaned space, I just feel like that, translate and reflects to all other aspects of my life. I feel like my mental feels a lot clearer. My mind feels clearer. I feel more organized. I feel more productive. So that's something that I'm definitely keeping that is high vibrational. The second is allowing myself balance, not completely restricting myself, but also being aware of what I'm consuming and what I'm putting into my body, and what I'm not even just like on a food and drink standpoint, but again, just like on who's surrounding me, my friends, the people that I am around, the people that I spend time with, the shows that I'm watching, things like that, allowing myself balance. And for example, right now I have restarted a health kick. I was going to do that as an episode today and just kind of talk to you guys about that, but I felt like this was more important, and I felt like this was something that you guys would actually enjoy more. But I might talk about the new health kick next week. But what I was thinking is that, for example, balance. I love wine. Okay, that's not going to stop. And I'm not going to live in a world where I can't drink wine unless I actually can't drink wine. So for me, I knew that when it came to this health kick, something that I want to be able to reward myself with is wine, a glass of wine at the end of the night. And so I told myself that I can still do that. I can still enjoy my glass of wine, but I'm going to pay more attention to what I'm eating, making sure I'm taking my vitamins, making sure I'm getting proper nutrients, making sure I'm staying on top of my workouts and my exercise. I also have decided to compromise with myself because, well, this actually isn't a compromise. I actually really, really love these things. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. This is just a side note. There are these drinks called Bev, literally the best things ever. They are zero sugar wine. I think it's like 160 calories per can. I usually have 3 of them and I am feeling really good, and it's no sugar. So I ordered 24 of them. It was like a 24 pack, and they'll be here within the next couple days. And I told myself, until those, sugar-free wines come in, I can have regular wine and obviously just not go overboard with it. Everything in life is balance. I want to be realistic with myself. I'm not going to be able to just not drink alcohol for the rest of my life, not because I'm dependent on it, but because it's something I enjoy socially. I enjoy sitting on the couch with Hayden at the end of the night, talking about our days over a glass of wine. So even though I am watching what I'm consuming, it's all about balance. Okay, the third thing is this is kind of, okay, now that I'm reading this, it kind of sounds a little bit contradicting based off of everything else that we've been talking about today in terms of saying no and, setting boundaries and socially being drained and whatever and people pleasing. But something that is high vibrational in my life, and I think I'm finally at a place where it's high vibrational in my life because I have the right quality people around me, is something that's high vibrational, going on more dates, whether that's friend dates, whether that's romantic dates. I want to continue going on more dates. Again, like brunches with friends, going to nice dinners, going to get coffee, like having that quality time with people is something that I really, really cherish. And I always enjoy it whenever I get to do that. So being able to continue having those quality people in my life and spending that quality time with them by doing whatever it is, whether that's a girls' night at home over a bottle of wine, or whether that's going to a nice dinner with Hayden and just having a really solid quality time. Like, I just want to continue having high vibrational quality time with the people that I really care about. Okay, number 4 is something that's high vibrational, spending more time in nature outside, whether that's taking church for a walk or going on a really nice drive when the weather is nice and sunny outside. And it's about, hopefully, crossing my fingers, is about to get warmer here in Nashville. So once that happens, going to get a coffee and going for a nice drive always puts me in such a better mood. So doing things like that, it's something that always puts me in a positive mood. Seeing other people out, just being around other people, seeing that other people are out living, but in my car. That's what I like. Okay, and this last one is having a solid bedtime routine. So taking my vitamins, taking magnesium. I've been loving magnesium lately. It's helped me tenfold with my sleep and staying asleep, and falling asleep. I have a problem with both. I have a problem with staying asleep and falling asleep. Not anything that's like concerning, but I just think that I'm constantly staring at my phone, and I stare at my phone until the second I go to bed. And then it's the first thing I look at the second I wake up, which is going back to the first thing that I mentioned in the low vibration list. So really creating a solid bedtime that's relaxing. I don't think I told you guys, but I recently got, I changed out the lamps in our bedroom, or not the lamps, the light bulbs, and I got LED lights. So I have a remote with all of these different colors that really just help set the mood. It's a vibe, and you just sit in bed and take my magnesium, have some water, and just unwind from the day and really unplug. And whenever I have a solid bedtime routine, whenever I've done like the full nighttime, bedtime, skincare, moisturize, shower, get in bed, clean sheets routine, I always feel so much better, and it always sets me up for success for the next day. So that is my list, you guys, of 5 low vibe and then 5 high vibe things that I am incorporating and removing in my life. And it all ties in to protecting my peace and removing myself from being a people pleaser, being able to choose myself and really prioritize what serves me and remove what doesn't. So I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about all of this. If you have anything that's on your list, whether that's the low vibrational list or the high vibrational list, I'm very, very curious. So let me know what you guys have to say about this one. And with that being said, you guys, that is all for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. I will be back next week with a brand new episode for you guys, and I hope to see you there. Love you guys. Bye.